It's almost always the rich woman and the poor guy. It usually doesn't go the other way.
No. Rarely.
It's your classic Lady and the Tramp.
Ladies and tramps.
Your classic Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
Probably non-animated movies as well.
Yeah, it's interesting the parallels between a lot of different movies, and I was thinking about that while we were watching it. I think that this did inspire a whole generation of dance movies after it.
So today, of course, we are talking about a movie about struggles for body autonomy and reproductive rights, a movie about class immobility and the unseen work of the proletariat, a movie about the diminishment of contributions of minorities, and grinding. A lot of grinding.
Oh, man.
And that movie, of course, is Dirty Dancing. So welcome to a very special episode of I Love This, You Should Too. I'm going to have the time of my life, and my name is Indy Randhawa. And with me is my lovely co-host who will never be put in a corner. Hey, it's baby Samantha Randhawa.
It's me. I, just off the top of this, really thought that line meant something more than it did.
Maybe that'll be the first thing we talk about.
Yeah.
But we are talking about Dirty Dancing. This was a rare, neither of us had really seen it. I saw it probably when it came out when I was 3. So I have some memory of it in some way. I know the soundtrack very well. And I think I just know it from the world. You had never seen it, but it was your pick.
Yes, and I had the time of my life.
Did you? Do you love it?
Yes.
Oh.
It was a fun movie. I have a lot of questions about it, but I overall had a great time watching it. What about you? Had you seen it before, as an adult?
No.
Okay.
There was so much of it that was shocking to me. So it was only halfway, maybe sooner into the movie, I realized, I think I haven't seen this. I just kind of assumed I have.
From the way that you were commenting on it, I kind of assumed you hadn't seen it.
Yeah. There was a lot of very surprising stuff in this movie.
When we recorded the pre-episode, I thought you had seen it.
I thought I had too.
And
I
then,
might be thinking of Footloose.
You know what? Men dancing.
Quite often, especially in more light, fun movies you bring me, the more I think about them and the more we talk about them, the more I dislike them. Mm-hmm. I think this is the opposite. I think the more I think about this, I'm like, oh, is this actually brilliant? It might be. I don't know. The more I think about it, I got thoughts.
I got thoughts too.
And those thoughts are good. So let's
thoughts.
get into Dirty Dancing. Of course, we are more of an analysis thing, so spoilers. But you know what? You should see Dirty Dancing by now.
You really should.
And it had been spoiled for me, even though I had never seen it, because you just live in the world.
This is a movie that I don't think I actually needed to see. Because, I don't, I'm not saying, skip it. I'm just, I knew enough about this movie that I feel like I'd already seen it.
I'm going to say hard disagree.
Oh, okay.
I think this is a movie like Rambo, where it's in the world and you're like, yeah, I know what that movie is. And then you watch it and you're like, that's what the movie is? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I didn't think the central plot point of Dirty Dancing is an illegal abortion.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't think it spent so much time on class politics.
Yeah.
There's a lot to this. And to what you were saying at the very beginning, which I think we should talk about right now, I thought nobody puts baby in a corner was a big thing.
I thought it was had actual meaning to it.
And he's rescuing her or something. That's not the case. She's just sitting along a wall, kind of in a corner, but not really in a corner.
She's sitting next to a pillar.
Yeah.
Which isn't a corner.
It's a tiny
she's,
corner.
Not having a super fun time, but she's not actively being repressed.
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
I thought this movie is about an evil father who goes through periods of being a mute, extended periods, and is cruel and puts her in a corner and is no dancing for you.
Yeah,
that's not
Footloose.
the case at all.
No dancing ever.
I think I'm thinking of Footloose.
I really thought that was going to be a little bit more important than it actually ended up being. And then when he actually says it and he pulls her up and they start dancing, I was like, wait, that's it?
Why is it an iconic line? just because it's ridiculous. Maybe it was so silly that people remember it.
Yeah. I assumed, so this is what I thought nobody puts baby in the corner means. It was like they're in a dance class and the instructor's like, get out of here, you suck. And she has to go sit in the corner because she's bad and she doesn't get to dance anymore.
And then she comes out and dances out and says, nobody puts baby in a corner. And she's a great dancer.
I assume that Patrick Swayze came and like got her and was like, nobody puts baby in a corner, and brings her back to class.
And this movie is not about men rescuing women at all.
No.
You'll be happy to discover. So, yeah, go watch Dirty Dancing because it's surprising. It's
true.
not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about first? Feminist stuff? Class issues? Or just, you know what I asked in one of our cold opens a long time ago? At what point can you stop telling a period piece was a period piece? So this movie is now almost 40 years old.
Oh my God, yeah.
Just like us.
Wow.
Does it even seem like a period piece to you? Or is it just like, yeah, this is the past? This depicts the time it was made.
It feels like a movie about the past. Like it doesn't quite feel like a period piece yet.
Well, I mean, it would have felt like a period piece in 87.
Yeah.
So you said
because it's about 20 years earlier.
It's about 63.
Yeah.
So my question is, when you watch this, does it seem like, oh, these are people acting out at different time? Or does it just seem like this is when the movie was made?
It seems like this is when the movie was made.
And I think it's both the time that's passed, because there's a greater distance between us and Dirty Dancing than there is between Dirty Dancing and 63, which is crazy.
Yes.
But also, I don't think they did a good job of making it a period piece.
No.
The hair is very anachronistic.
80s.
The music is mostly 60s, but there's like a good 3 or 4 very 80s songs in it, too.
Yeah. And I think that the costuming, which is a huge part of making a period piece, I think other than the Housemans, I think everybody else is very 80s.
I think they're very loose with the 60s look. They have a lot of, well, this is a 60s inspired thing. We're doing a James Dean thing, but also people in the 80s were dressing like that.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't seem like the 60s.
No. So this is one where it didn't feel like a period piece to me. It felt like it was from the time. But I think it's more their fault than it is ours.
Yes.
But then again, that doesn't really take anything away from the movie.
No.
As far as the time period goes, I like that it's 63 and not 68. Because when we have an idea of the 60s, especially now, so far removed, what we're really thinking about is like 1968 through 1972.
Right, the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, this isn't your Summer of Love type stuff. It's that transition from what we now think of as the 50s into what we think of as the 60s. And we watched quite a bit of stuff about this time recently, because we're watching Mad Men, and you realize that the early 60s are the themes that we normally associate with the 50s.
Yes.
And I think that's more this time.
I think
and
so.
we watched Maisel,
Marvelous Miss Maisel,
which takes place in this exact place, essentially.
I know. I as they were like, oh, we're going to camp, and they're unpacking the car, and you see like bellboys running around with like boxes and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is just Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah, we actually know what this place is now.
Yeah.
Because before, this seems like a weird thing. Like, why do wealthy Jewish families go to summer camp altogether? That seems strange. But it was a thing people did.
Yeah, it seems fun. I think I'd enjoy maybe like a weekend there.
I could see that.
I don't think I could spend an entire summer there.
I think as a kid, I would like it. Because you go and do stuff with your family. But the older you get, the less I want to be hanging out with family friends all the time.
In the country?
Oh, I like the country. The country I can deal with. But this time period, making it 63 and not 67 or 8, makes sense because that whole idea of this proper button-down girl does some dirty dancing, that whole thing, her transition, makes sense because this is a very transitionary time.
Right.
63, I think, was I Have a Dream speech, or is that 64? He dies in 68. You know what? We're not here to judge my historical knowledge. Let's just say this was a transitionary time.
This is like, it's a big time transition which is interesting to see kind of the family unit. I think this is an interesting thing because you get to see like what the family structure in the 60s was, which is very different from what it was like later decades. And I think that this is like a lot of what current time is built on, this like family nucleus of like
The nuclear family.
And I think that that is something that doesn't really exist anymore as much. And then like, but everything is kind of geared towards that still. So it's interesting to see that in a like functioning way, this family going on vacation together and stuff like that.
Well, I think we need to talk about Baby right at the beginning.
The baby who was never in a corner.
Yeah, not really.
I don't know that she sat in a corner this entire movie.
Outside of that, what are your thoughts on her?
I thought she aged about 3 years in this movie. Mm-hmm. I think at the beginning she seems like an awkward, like 13-year-old girl.
A baby, if you will.
A baby. And by the end of the movie, she seems like she's like 21.
Yeah.
That's more than 3 years. But I just feel like it was a lot of growing up for something that was supposed to be like maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, are you saying that as a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm seeing it as like it was a little confusing.
Oh, I see that as kind of the strength of it. I loved that. I loved her.
You love a coming of age story.
This, I absolutely do. And I think it's more of that than it is a romance.
Right.
And I think that's why it resonates with me even more. I love female coming of age stories that take place in summer. It's a specific genre, but there are a lot of them. It's always in summer because sometimes there's Christmassy ones. But summer is when you're outside of school and you kind of have that built-in transition because she is finished high school and she's going to go to college now. So you have that built in. And then you have, of course, things like her name. She's called Baby. And when it opens up, she's narrating that, like, well, at the time I thought it was fine. But you can tell that I think this is the last summer of her being Baby.
Yeah. And she becomes Frances by the end of the film.
Yeah. And she's named Frances after the first woman in Congress. And maybe it's heavy-handed. I don't think they force it too much. But going from being called Baby to being the first woman in Congress is very clearly about her growing up and about her naivete turning into a bit more worldliness and a bit more of the ability to take action in a realistic way. Mm-hmm. I am not going to say enough about how much I really enjoyed this character. She carries the movie, and I don't even just think it's the performance. I did like the performance, but I think it is in the writing of the character that I love the most. But I like Jennifer Grey a lot.
Yeah, I really, like, don't take what I said as, like, I didn't like Baby. I like her. I thought she was a really good lead character. I thought that Jennifer Grey did a really good job of growing in this character in such a short little bit of time. And I think she's, like, not actually a bad dancer. They did a good job of her being a bad dancer and then not being a bad dancer.
I wonder if they just recorded those things at points of her training. So it's actually her.
Yeah.
I don't know if she has a dance background or anything. I don't really know much about her besides this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But she definitely improved. And maybe she was just acting like a bad dancer. Also, I think she was a good dancer in spite of where he made her dance.
Like on logs and stuff?
Logs in a lake, like in the rain. It was a really weird collection of places to dance, which is like fine. But like they had a whole dance studio at their disposal.
They can't shoot the whole movie in the studio.
True.
I liked this character because she seems very close to being a fully realized person quite early on. And I'm not saying it's bad writing that she wasn't quite a fully realized person. I mean that she's a teenager coming into herself. And way more than most teenage characters, especially how teenage women are written in the 80s, she seems especially strong and self-assured. And even at the end, when I think Patrick Swayze makes a lot of unnecessary or over-the-top demands, but when he's doing his big thing about like, oh yeah, you're scared, you won't tell your father about me, she thinks about it. She's like, huh, yeah, you know what, you're right. And then she goes and just does it. She backs things up. And usually in a movie of this type, there's going to be some situation where she gets into trouble and needs to be rescued. Like maybe she goes off with a creepy guy and Swayze has to come in and like beat him up and take her away, or like take her out of the corner that she's been put in. But she didn't need rescuing at any of these points. Mm-hmm. There is the bit where her dad comes and helps her, but she's not being rescued. She goes to her dad, which is a action on her behalf. That she does it and goes and brings her dad because she knows that like, this is going to help my friends.
She needs help, yes.
And I think Baby is the one rescuing. What's Swayze's name in this? Frank Castle? No, that's
Johnny.
The Punisher.
Johnny Castle.
Yeah, Johnny Castle needs a lot more rescuing than she does.
Yeah, and she really does a good job building him up because he does seem like very downtrodden at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. And we'll get to him
very shortly. But yeah, she does grow and she is doing the saving, which I didn't know.
I also appreciate that she is always in charge of her sexuality. It's not the same way you would see a lot of teenage girls depicted, especially at this time. It's not this bit where she's going to lose her virginity and then she's going to stay with him forever and they live happily ever after. I don't even know if they're together at the end, really. They're going to go back to their own lives, I think.
Yeah.
And this was just part of her growing up.
Her transformation into a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that works. I think this movie ends at the right time. So many movies just don't know when to end themselves. And usually I say 15 minutes earlier than when you did. That's when you should have. This kind of gets it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, we had this romance, the summer romance. It wasn't nothing, but it's also not everything. And they leave on great terms of respect, and maybe there is love there too, but nobody says, I love you, right?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think this movie is trying to romanticize this. I know I get that it's a romance, but it's not putting a glossy veneer on this summer they had together. It's kind of gritty and realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that they don't use that like rose-colored glasses kind of way of showing.
That they're going to go off together forever.
Yeah.
They might never see each other again.
No?
They might see each other next summer and see what happens.
Yeah.
Another little technical thing that kind of works into this. I love that her body isn't like fetishized by the camera, which is something that happens a lot in movies, especially movies like this. There are a lot of shots of like butts and the dancers and such, but it's always other people. There's like dancers and they're showing the sexuality of how they're dancing, which is just gyrating. There's not really anything else they're doing.
Bumping crotches.
That's it.
I wouldn't even say it's like grinding or gyrating. It's literally just like bumping crotches together.
Well, there's some of that, but then there's some where they gyrate their crotches together.
Right.
There's a lot of that too.
Yes. It looked a little bit painful at times.
It would be so awkward to be an extra in this.
Yeah.
Because you just had to grind with someone.
For days.
Yeah, hours at a time and not say anything.
Yeah, just be silent.
Oh, there must have been so many awkward erections in that.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, I can't, like, I always feel bad for actors when you have to shoot like a big long party scene like that, where you're like, oh man, you did this for like 3 days. This was a very long shoot, I'm sure, of doing the exact same thing over and over again. And I salute anyone who's had to do that because it seems grueling.
And I was going to say that Johnny Castle, he gets way more kind of sexy glam shots than she does. But it makes sense because this is her movie and her point of view, which is not the case in most romantic dance movies. It's often, you know, the camera is checking out the girl a lot more. And this really, like I was saying, it's way more of a coming of age story. It's more about her story than it is about the romance. And the romance is a big part of her story, but it's not all of it.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Like, happily surprised by that. Because it is sometimes you lose the dancing and the growth that happen in this kind of movie when you just focus on the love story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just want a love story. I want things to happen.
And there's a lot of points of the direction and specifically the editing that I did have issue with. I don't think they were terribly sharp all the time. But this, how they prevented us from just like the whole male gaze thing. I know we've talked about Mulvey too much, but how that's not ever present in this is pretty remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't like is there was a lot of weird edits in cutting into close-ups that didn't quite match. Yes. I feel like they shot some of those close-ups the next day or something. Maybe...
Yeah, like let's not show that it's not set up exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some tight shots in there.
They just didn't quite match up a lot of the times. And then there's also like a lot of the line deliveries are pretty bad. The acting is
medium.
Spotty.
It is spotty.
There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of deliveries but maybe that's in the editing. Maybe they picked a weird take because sometimes, especially when they'd pop into a close-up, the delivery didn't match the emotion from just a while ago. So
yeah.
I wonder if it was reshoots later on.
It was just like, it made no sense then. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. The extreme close-ups really took me out of kind of the magic of the film. Because I was like, why are we this close to them? And during dance scenes, there was a lot of like, let's show their faces.
Maybe they're hiding the fact that the dance wasn't great?
Maybe.
Although with Penny and Johnny dance, they showed everything there.
Yeah.
Because she was a better
an actual
dancer.
Yeah.
She was great.
She was great.
Let's talk a little bit about Penny.
Okay.
Again, most of my praise for this movie is usually it's the shitty way, and this movie doesn't do it. And I guess that's kind of not the best way to praise a movie and just saying like you didn't do the bad things. But I do think this goes a step ahead because usually in movies, I was going to say of the 80s, but just in movies, period, women are either rivals and they're fighting. And then if they are friends, they're like slumber party pals and they're like in each other's arms and they're best friends forever. Yeah. And this has like a rare middle ground where she and Penny just kind of gain a mutual respect for each other. And that's it. They don't have to be BFFs for, I was going to say forever, but that's what the second F is, right?
Yeah. I liked Penny's character because she's like, it's like when you're a child, there's like the older kids and there's the younger kids. And Baby is very much in the younger kids when she gets to the summer camp. And Penny is like, I work here. This is my job. I'm older. I've lived life. I don't want anything to do with this like 17-year-old.
And I think the class stuff is in there
as well. But it was very much like, yeah, why would they be friends?
They don't need to be best friends.
Any sense for them to instantly be like, oh my God, you're my best friend.
Yeah. But in a true act of friendship or solidarity or just being a good person, what I love is when Penny needs an abortion, Baby isn't like, oh, are you sure you need one? Can't you just keep it? There's no morality around it. They're like, not, okay, who's great. The father? There's just like, that's what you need. I'll see what I can do to help.
Yeah.
And that's quite remarkable.
It is. Can I say that I love looking at the inflation calculator, but $250 in 1963 is like $2,500 today.
Oh, wow.
And her dad was just like, yeah, here you go.
She was rich.
I had a feeling that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, like asking your dad for $2,500 and just being like, yeah, here you go.
And you got one of those rich dads.
Rich dads. They're great if you can get them.
Yep. So I hear. Do you want to talk about the men in the movie or all the class stuff that I'm going to go on about? Because if you thought just because we're watching a dance movie, I'm not going to use the word proletariat, you would be wrong.
Let's get to that after. Let's talk about the men in the movie.
This was another thing that surprised me. I had in my mind that the dad is a terrible person. And I don't think he is. I think he's a good doctor and a good father.
And he just wants to have his daughter stop lying to him.
Fair request.
And he like gets hurt because she lies to him and it takes him a little while to get over it.
Yeah.
Like fair. These are normal human emotions that you don't often see in movies. I thought that he was great. He's supposed to be like a cardiologist. I think it's very funny that he shows up to camp like with his doctor bag.
That was a thing that I only know from movies. The doctors carry it with them everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they did.
Maybe. I feel like it's just funny to have like all your tools with you and like needles and like he was
drugs.
Like, drugs. Like he had a full pharmacy in his bag so that he could give her a needle like right away. That's I feel like something that you don't get today.
Do you know Jerry Orbach?
No, he looked very familiar to me, but I can't think of where I know him from. Where do I know him from?
He has many, many years on Law and Order. I've never seen Law and Order, but because it's so ubiquitous, you see him on there.
Yes, I've seen Law and Order.
But
and
what
you're right.
you might love him from and not recognize him from, he's Lumiere in the 1990 Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Oh my god!
You wouldn't know it from how he talks.
No,
but...
that was like, I'm gonna do a voice now. But oh my god, yeah. Okay, I just saw like an older picture of him, and I was like, yeah, that's the guy from Law and Order.
Older than 87, or you mean newer?
Newer, sorry, where he's older.
Right.
And yeah, I totally know him from Law and Order. I thought he was just a great dad.
Yeah.
Like, that is a dad that every movie character needs. He taught baby a lesson. He was there when she needed him. He gave her $2,500.
Right.
And
no questions asked.
No questions asked. And just wanted to make sure that his daughter wasn't in trouble, which, like, good dad. Good job.
Yeah, he also never judges Penny.
No.
He only shows compassion for her. He really never even shows much of a negative side towards Johnny Castle. Johnny Castle.
Johnny Castle is such a dumb name. That does sound like a video game name.
Yeah. He just tells his daughter he doesn't want her hanging around with a guy who is going to get someone pregnant, take her to a back alley abortionist, and then date someone else right in front of her.
Yeah.
Which,
fair. That is a shitty
All
move.
fair.
Had that been happening, that is a shitty move.
Swayze never says, like, hey, I'm not the father. He
Yeah.
just lets people believe that and was just like, you would believe that? I was like, yeah, because you led me to believe
Because
that.
you've only ever led us to believe
You
that
said,
you are the
I'm
father.
responsible for her. That kind of sounds like that you're responsible for the pregnancy.
Yeah, you can't use words like I'm responsible for her and not assume that people are going to think that you're the dad.
Yeah. So I don't think that's on the dad for assuming that. That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, they go that one extra step of him going to Frank Castle. Johnny. I might just say Swayze. Goes to Swayze and says, like, look, I thought this, but you know what? I admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah.
Stand-up guy.
Good job. What about Robbie?
Oh, Robbie's the worst.
Robbie is the worst.
As soon as there's a guy with a copy of The Fountainhead. I brought this up before.
You did.
Somebody in real life might have talked about it. And I said, like, if you ever meet someone who wants you to read The Fountainhead, you get away from that person. That is a bad person.
I feel like Dr. Jake Houseman would tell you that too.
Yeah, he would.
Don't trust anyone.
Well,
either.
what is his line about, well, some people matter and some people don't?
Yeah.
It's just so matter of fact.
I
What a
love
piece of
that
shit.
line too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that actually at work this week, and I was like, wow.
That's the lesson of Fountainhead.
Such a interesting line to like pull from a book like that.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be a dirtbag masquerading as a medical student.
We were just talking about how we're going to use the word dirtbag
Yes,
more often.
and I did.
He's such a dirtbag.
He is such a dirtbag, and he's like, just from his look with that like big bouffant hair that he had going on, and like the way he was dressed. I mean, he was wearing a uniform when we first met him, but like as he's out in the camp, not in uniform, I'm just like, oh, this guy is no good.
I didn't even notice all that. I saw the copy of The Fountainhead, and I was like, well,
You're
I
like,
made up
"Nope,
my mind on this guy.
I'm done. But he's masquerading as the perfect husband candidate.
Yeah.
And I can see exactly how we go from that to Mad Men.
Right?
Like, Robbie Gold is going to be having
He's gonna do well
lunchtime
at this time.
martinis and be going to hotels during the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was like kind of the perfect creep because he's the creepiest kind of creep where he's like very under the radar about it until he's not.
This is also a movie where I think we see our two male leads both cry and none of the women. Oh, outside of Penny. Penny cries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think Baby ever cries, does she? But Swayze does.
Yeah.
And the dad does.
Yeah.
Another huge rarity for this type of movie. And Swayze, because I think he finally feels seen. That kind of gets overused a lot these days, but I think that's what it is. And then with the father, he feels like he let his daughter down and it's crushing him. Like when she does that speech to him of like, well, I lied to you, but you lied to me, and like lays it down for him in a very logical way. And he responds to that. You can tell that she is his daughter. She is probably parroting back. Parroting sounds like she's just mimicking what a man told her, but she clearly has come to all of this thought process herself. But she's been raised by a man with morals, and he sees that. He's not someone who's like, well, I say that, but it doesn't go for you. Yeah. He's like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And it crushes him that he's disappointed her in a way. And that's well
great.
Done. There's some really good stuff in this movie.
I love when the parental lessons come back and you're like, no, because you always taught me to be like this, and now you're going against that.
Yeah.
And then parents are like, yeah, you're right.
Another thing you don't often see in movies is, well, first there's this whole bit about these dancers who work there who are treated like sex workers, both in that, yeah, they're kind of banging a lot of the wives, but then it's not like an 80s movie where he's going to say, yeah, I've been with all of these women, but it's not him bragging, it's him letting you in on his trauma. This was something that was done to him. And the idea of a Patrick Swayze type being essentially like paid for exploited because he has nowhere else to go.
There's no other options. Yeah.
Everyone else has this other option. He does not. And same with the other dancers, and that's why Penny's in such dire straits and needs this job. He's willing to do anything to keep the job because that's how he stays alive. And him talking about it as trauma is just not something I'd seen in an 80s teen romance before.
Yeah, usually the older guy has it all figured out. And it's like, this guy is actually someone who is like, this is my only option.
Yeah.
I have nothing
It's usually
else.
played like, yeah, I've been with all these women because I know how to please the ladies or something like that. But no, that's not what's happening here. It's sad. It's disturbing.
It is. And he's being affected by it.
Yeah. Eventually, I think we'll watch Saturday Night Fever, but I think this might have a lot in common with that because that movie's actually surprisingly dark as well.
I look forward to seeing it. Is that John Travolta?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who's in Footloose?
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. I get Kevin Bacon and Patrick Swayze mixed up, and I think it's because of this.
That makes sense. They were of the same
time. They were like handsome dancer guys.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
When you start seeing them, though, you'll realize like, oh, they have very different energies on screen.
And they look very different. Yeah. But if I'm just thinking of like 80s
well, I thought this movie was
dudes,
Footloose for a long time.
Yeah, you're dead. So it's not a far jump. Can I just talk about Emily Gilmore and how wonderful she is?
Oh, of course.
Kelly Bishop, Tony Award winner Kelly Bishop. She is fantastic in this. She was hired to be a like camper, and then she showed up to set like a week early to do like costume fittings and stuff, and they were like, so you're playing the mom now.
She just wowed everyone.
Well, the other actress dropped out and they just like put her in, and she did great, and she's awesome. And I love her so much, and I was so excited to see her in another role.
I would have loved more of both of the parents.
Me too.
We don't get much Kelly Bishop at
No,
all.
and I was a little sad about that because I love her.
And those characters, there's something to them. They are not these stock, like, we're the evil parents that don't want you to dance. That's not what they are. So I would have loved to have seen more of the two of them. And I do feel like there are parts where you could cut a little bit out of this movie.
Yeah.
But then you could just add it.
Add a little bit more of the Housemans. Yeah, usually in this kind of thing, you get either the boozy mom.
Oh,
like,
boozy mom.
Rich boozy mom. Or you get the, like, sleeping with the help mom.
Oh, I was thinking more of a, will I never type mom.
Or a Southern mom. Overly involved Southern mom.
She doesn't have to be Southern. She could be Grandma Gilmore.
True. Emily.
But I would never do that sort of thing.
Yeah. I wished she was in this a little bit more. But I'm happy we got what we got of her. Who else should we talk about?
I also thought Johnny Castle is an asshole for most of the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't get why she was into him at the beginning, outside of, like, he's a hot dancer.
Yeah.
But I guess that's enough?
I guess.
Yeah.
He's like the hottest, dangerous one.
Yeah.
Most dangerous guy at camp.
He's also not very nice.
No. And I I thought about this the entire movie, and I didn't want to ruin the rest of the movie for you. His little weird doll lips. He has a very small mouth. For a man with hair that large. It really bothered me. But Patrick Swayze can dance. He's a great dancer.
You've never seen Ghost either, have you?
No.
I bet you'd like Ghost.
Is that pottery?
There's some pottery in it.
Okay.
That's a movie that I know I had actually seen.
Okay.
I've seen Ghost multiple times. I think it's quite good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that Sandra Bullock?
No, this is pretty Sandra Bullock.
Oh,
She is a very Sandra Bullock type.
Who's in Ghost?
Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
But she's not the Sandra Bullock
I was
type.
like, what? That was so confusing. That broke my brain. Demi Moore. I knew it was like a brunette Hollywood girl.
Demi Moore.
And then he just stops texting her?
Yeah, that's what it's about.
That's what being ghosted.
I was on... This is a bit of a tangent now, especially because it's not even the movie.
That's fine.
It was an interview thing where it's like man on the street interviews, and someone asked me about ghosting. I was like, why is it now acceptable to ghost someone? And I said, like, well, if you have a good idea of what they're trying to make, I think it's fine that you get in there on that pottery wheel behind them and help them out. But if you don't know for sure where that piece of pottery is going, you shouldn't do it. And the lady was just like, oh, thought I was pretty funny.
That is funny. I
Yeah,
like that.
I thought so too.
Don't be going to make a bowl while someone's trying to make a vase.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You gotta be on the same page if you're gonna ghost.
Do you want me to talk about all my classism stuff?
Yeah.
Do you want to do what we usually do when we get to this point where I just go through it and you're like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you see a bunch of, but that's really in this one.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not just
No, you're not
putting my own stuff on it.
No. This is a very classism movie.
I think it's really interesting that they have guests and they have the staff, but there are bigger differences between the two levels of staff than with the guests and the staff.
Yeah.
Because there's all the college boys who are the waiters who are doing this just to make a bit of extra money, and they are treated completely different from the people who do this for a living. Mm-hmm. And the biggest difference between them is how they are able to interact with guests. Mm-hmm. Because they say that those waiters are here mainly to entertain the daughters, show them a good time, and maybe find a wife in this.
Yeah, a rich wife.
And should I talk about unionization? Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
The argument about how
union.
service jobs don't need unionization or higher wages because it's just something that kids do on their way to something else is false.
It's factually incorrect.
And this movie kind of shows some of that. There are many people who do this, whatever this is, working at a summer camp, working at a McDonald's, whatever it is. That's their life for the rest of their life.
Oh, yeah.
And because we are so dismissive as a society about these types of positions that they now have to do 2 or 3 of this type of job to cobble together enough money to feed their families. If working at McDonald's is so easy, why don't you go do it? Mm-hmm. I couldn't do it. I'd last 3 weeks on a McDonald's.
I did work at McDonald's.
Could you do it now?
No.
It seems terrible.
It's hard work. It's such hard work.
Because part of the thing that I couldn't do, I'm confident I could work a register and I could do all the burger stuff. I couldn't deal with people talking down to me that much. And they deal with it all the time because we have this built-in thing that these types of jobs, we call it unskilled labor. That is a skill. I have a very specific set of skills that work great to help me teach children. I do not have a good set of skills that allow me to be berated because I put Diet Coke in the Coke machine. Like I can't do that.
Customer service
It's so hard.
is a skill that is harder than most jobs
Yes.
that like don't involve customer service. And I think that it is very, very undervalued. And like you said, you have a very specific set of skills. I have a very specific set of skills. We have very different jobs.
Yeah.
And I think that like if you're good at customer service, I think you should be valued way higher than like most people.
Labor is labor. There's no such thing as unskilled labor.
No.
You need different skills for different things.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Some might require more years of training to get there. Absolutely. A surgeon requires more time. I get that. But labor is labor and should be paid as such.
Absolutely.
But back to the movie.
Classism.
I also like that this movie doesn't say, oh, congratulations for being a rich person who cares about the less fortunate. It just uses that as a starting point. And I think that's one of the really clever things about her character. Baby, that is.
Baby.
At the beginning, she's reading a book that's like economics for poor people, or what is it called? Like emerging markets or something. And she's talking about how she's going to school to study, I don't know, poverty in third world nations or something like that. And the movie doesn't just say, oh, look how caring she is. The movie kind of pokes fun at her and says, like, look how naive she is. She's idealistic, and that's good, but she's also naive. And this movie is about her learning kind of the real world applications of things that are in her mind. She has this idea that like everyone's equal and we should care about them, but she's never been in those worlds. And when she comes in and she's willing to just solve things with money, Swayze I thought was like overly harsh in is like, oh, well, did it take a lot of courage to just go ask your dad for money? That was overly harsh. But the movie is making a good point that good intentions are not enough.
Yes.
Sympathy even is not enough. This needs empathy and this needs actions and not just good intentions. And that is her learning process. More than I think a lot of the romantic stuff. I think her going into the world of the dancers is what gives her the real world knowledge behind these line of lofty ambitions she has. When she actually gets to see, like, it's not that simple. There's not that much mobility between classes. You can't just fix things. It's systemic. And this movie actually kind of tackles that. And I get it is a bit of that whole, like, oh, the poor people and the colored people teach the stuffy rich girl how to let loose and have sex. And, like, you've seen that in Save the Last Dance, but this actually tackles those issues. Like, that movie does not. One other little thing I liked is in most of this type of movie, like Save the Last Dance, she already knows how to dance. She just needs to learn a different type of dance. This one, she's starting from scratch, showing the work that it takes to be a dancer, showing the value of their work, the proletariat. They are doing work, and we are seeing this labor and how difficult it is. So this is like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to be a doctor, not some dancer. And this movie kind of shows like, yeah, the dancing's hard. It's not, you are not better because you're doing a different job. It is just different. And I liked that part.
I appreciated that they made it look hard.
Yeah.
At the beginning. Like, so,
she does learn it pretty quick, but it's a movie.
But you do see her struggle.
Yes.
And you see her fail.
Yeah.
It's lot of
the value of work.
Dance movies, it's like something just clicks and then magically you're the best dancer ever. Not like Maria, but you know.
No, well, no one could be. No, she puts in the work.
She puts in the work. And I just feel like this was like, it felt very real.
Yeah.
You feel like you're watching her actually learn how to dance.
And I love how that is great for someone with dance experience like you. And it's great for someone like me who's saying, like, we want to see the value of proletariat work. And they're doing it in a dance movie. And I think that's clever.
That's very clever.
And then at the end, there's this big final dance. And you can see this as, like, the classes getting together because they bring everybody into that dance. And the person was doing the speech about how, well, this is probably going to be one of the last times we do this. It is ushering out that old way of separate classes. And I get that this isn't reality, but this movie ends on a kind of utopian, optimistic note that if we all just dance together, we can all be together and everyone's going to be happy. And
which I liked.
yeah, I of course... there's more to it it's more complicated than that, but this movie already gave you an illegal abortion. They can't just do everything.
We can't get that deep into it.
So I kind of like that this is symbolic of the end of what we more associate with the 50s, and maybe this is the beginning of some class mobility, or at least people learning about and accepting people of different walks of life with some of that more liberalism, some of the Summer of Love things from 67 and 68, and all of that is kind of on its way in the world of the movie, and we get to see that with a big dance number at the end.
Yeah, I guess when you're talking about like the changing times, you can see that right in the Houseman family, where her older sister is very much like, I'm going to be a housewife like my mother, and I'm going to marry well, and I'm going to be the perfect wife or daughter or whatever I need to be. And this, like, my skill is being a woman and doing what's expected of me. Whereas baby's like, I'm going to join the Peace Corps. I'm going to, like, study politics and, like, learn about the world and, like, go
And
out
her
and
father
do
supports
things.
that, too.
Yeah. So, like, it's really interesting to see the kind of split between them because they're, like, old world versus new.
And I think just having it there is enough for most movies. Like, look, she's going to college. She's going to join the Peace Corps. She wants to be a wife and a mother. And those are the divergences. But this movie does that one extra step of, yeah, baby was idealistic and naive, and she doesn't know what the real world's like, and now she's going to learn it. And then she has that step of growth, too. And that's what makes this one just a bit better than most.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy the visual elements of the time.
Any last things?
I just want to say, like, it's very impressive that he lifted her over his head and everything. I think that, like, swirly lift that they do in their dance routine is actually, like, cooler. Yeah, okay, you're strong and, like, you could balance and you've clearly worked on this, but I think the swirly move looks better.
Remember how this movie has these two tiny elderly people who were fingerprinted and run a crime ring?
Oh my god, yes!
Where the fuck did that come
Then
from?
they were, like, arrested and taken in? That's crazy.
So bizarre.
There's warrants in multiple states for them.
So this movie has such great ideas, like those things I was talking about, and then it has some of the dumbest, weirdest stuff in it too.
And then they were like, yeah, so that's over.
All
Guess
right.
you still have a job?
No, because he slept with
Oh,
baby.
that's right.
Yeah.
Right. But still, they were like, oh, yeah, that. Anyway, moving on.
Let's
get on with our summer. I forgot about that. And I didn't connect when the old lady drops her purse. I didn't really look at what they were putting back in it. I was just like, oh yeah, crazy old lady with like everything she owns in her purse.
I didn't think about that either.
No.
I didn't even realize that it was set up early until you mentioned it.
Yeah, it was, and I did not connect it until the end. And I was like, were we supposed to be like looking at what was being scooped into her purse?
Who was fingerprinting it? The campers?
Right? That was the
call in
weird
the
part.
police?
They were like, yeah, they ran fingerprints and stuff. And it's like, who?
Yeah.
Is there
It
like
was
a
like later that day,
detective
wasn't it? I
at
don't know.
camp? Although there's a cardiologist at camp.
Yeah.
So like, really?
A detective brought his fingerprinting equipment, and were there even big international databases?
No.
Definitely not international. National?
No.
In the county? I don't know.
Because crime solving got so much better when states started or
Sharing.
counties
Yeah.
started sharing between, because people could just like go
You could just
move
move.
to another town and be
That's
like,
why people had all those like second and third families.
Second families. Oh my God.
You just
yeah.
move to another town and no one will ever find you.
Yeah.
But they managed to find these criminal geniuses.
Criminal geniuses. Oh my God. I forgot about that.
That was so bizarre.
And that was delightful. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Anything else to wrap up?
I don't think so. I would like to say that the man who choreographed this movie, Kenny Ortega, also did the High School Musical franchise. Just very funny. He's like a prolific choreographer in Hollywood, and he's done like tours and all sorts of stuff. And it was just very funny that he had such a varied career. Also, Matthew Broderick has a cameo in this.
I never noticed
He was
him.
dating Jennifer Grey at the time.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I'm not even sure where he is in this movie, but I just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, this movie had so many more layers than I was expecting, and I really enjoyed watching it. It was a fun watch. And we often don't talk about the movie after. We kind of like save it for the podcast. Both of us were like, what? What did we just watch? I had a lot of questions. And I think everyone should see it. Go watch it.
At the time, a lot of it was baffling.
Yes.
Well, it was like what I was saying earlier, that very often, especially with more fun movies that you bring me, the more I think about them, the more I dislike them. And they're fun and flashy and they're pleasing during the watch, but when you actually start to think about what they're saying, everything falls apart, which I thought was the case with a lot of the romantic comedies that you had me watch. But I think this is kind of the opposite. It has sections that are clunky and awkward and weird.
Yeah.
And while watching it, there were several times where I questioned why a character would be behaving the way they are. But then when we're here and we're talking about this big picture stuff, this character stuff, this thematic stuff with like the feminist ideas and the classism ideas, this movie is doing a lot of great things, and it is ahead of its time in a lot of ways. It's discussing very important topics. It's making very salient points without drawing too much attention to it and being heavy-handed. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie, and I like it. I think I like it more now than when I was watching it.
Yeah, me too. As we were
movie.
reflecting on it, I'm like, yeah, actually, that all made a lot of sense. Right after, I was like, what did we just watch?
It's weird in a lot of ways.
Very questioning.
Because it's not the formula. It is the formula, but they're doing different things with it. So it puts you on edge, and then you get like weird things like, I know people love that scene where they're crawling on the floor.
And they're like
"Come here,
mouthing
lover
the
boy."
words. And I'm
I know
like,
people love it. I
this
know
is
it's
uncomfortable.
I thought it was weird too. I think it was in the edit. I feel like Patrick Swayze's often dancing to different music than the music we are hearing.
Yeah.
Then you get these international jewel thieves or whatever they are. There was just a lot of weird stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I liked it. It was great.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap up there.
Okay.
Next week, I thought we could play another dance movie rebroadcast, but are we still going to do Romance February? This was your romantic movie?
This is my romantic
movie. So then
movie.
I will pick a romantic movie. So next week, we'll each have a spoiler-free thing of the fortnight. May or may not be romantic, but then I will pick a very romantic movie for us to watch in this most romantic of months.
So
February is
romance.
not. I think
It's
August
not.
is the most romantic month.
Is it?
I think so.
Summer fun?
Yeah, but it's also the end of summer, so you get those, like, you know how sunsets are in August?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think August is the most romantic.
Yeah.
Not February, but
February is just like that. Why is this a month?
maybe that's why we need the romance.
Oh, they're like, let's give them whatever we can so that they make
Just
it
get
through
through.
February.
Yeah. All right. Well, join us next week. I'll let you know what my big romantic movie is for the week after that.
Can't wait for all the romance.
It's going to be so romantic.
You know what's really romantic? When people are like, it's going to be so romantic. romantic.
It's gonna be so romantic. Oh my god.
Oh my god, when you like really oversell the romance,
You're just not ready for.
you're not even
how
ready
romantic
for
this
how
will be.
romantic we're gonna get. Guys, buckle in.
All right, I got nothing more. Bye, everybody.
Bye.